Welcome to Private Money Secrets. I'm Keith Yackey and I'm your host, and all we talk about here is private money, real estate, and some other fun stuff. Grab your favorite beverage. Let's dive in. Hey, it's Keith Yackey here, and I have this kind of sermon I want to deliver. Now, I'm not going to get all Pastor Keith on you, and if you go, what does that mean? Well, maybe some of you don't know. I used to be a pastor, long time ago, maybe 13 years ago was the last time I quote unquote pastored in a church, even though I still feel like a pastor by helping people move from where they are to where they want to be. But with that being said, the topic today is victim, being a victim. And we hear it a lot. We hear a lot of people, oh, they're being a victim, or this victim mentality. Well, I have this little sermonette for you on that. And it's going to feel like that because I've got all alliterations. They're going to be all D's. And we all know that that's amazing. So victim is a person harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other event or action. If you've been harmed, injured, or killed as a result of a crime, accident, or other event or action, or a person who is tricked or duped. That is the definition. Now, let me make a little...
As an adverb, it means at the present time or moment. Do you want to hear the next one?
No, I don't, Siri. I didn't even know you were going to be chiming in. Thanks for joining. So, any rate, before I was so rudely interrupted by Siri there, let me make a disclaimer. There are actually real victims in this world. People that have been acted upon, that with people that had more power than them that came in. There's real victims in this world. I understand that. But I'm talking here to able-bodied people that can actually have decisions in their situation. They actually have a decision. I'm not talking about, sex, trade slaving and all that other. I'm not talking about the horrific stuff that really, truly are victims. So that's my disclaimer for those of you who might want to comment below and be like, oh, there's real victims. I know. I get it. Now, let's debunk a myth. Here's the myth. Have you ever heard anybody say, oh, dude, we've all made mistakes, almost as if all our mistakes are in the past and they're not like here now? But have you stopped to consider that right now is your future's past? Right now is your future's past, which means there's a very good likelihood that you're probably making a mistake at some point in your life right now, or in some area in your life right now. Chew on that. You're right now in the midst of making a mistake, but it doesn't feel like a mistake. Nobody ever runs into a situation and go, this is going to be my favorite mistake ever. But anyway, the myth is that we've all been victims. We've all struggled with this victim mentality. We've all struggled with it in a certain way. But here's who I'm really talking to, not the people that are really crying the victim card. I'm talking really to the people like me who often think I'm past being a victim, but I've noticed it sneakily crept into my life and the way of thinking in certain areas of my life. So the myth I'm debunking here, to use my third D, is simply, this isn't for other people. This probably applies to you. All right, next D, declare. What do you declare? What are the declarations of a victim? I've found that it's come down to one two-letter word. One two-letter word. The word, if. If they didn't fire me, I would be rich. If they didn't say that to me, I wouldn't have exploded in anger. If my kids would behave, I wouldn't have to be a shitty dad. If my wife really loved me the way I'm supposed to be loved, then I would be a great husband. If my employee did this, if my parents did this, if, golly, shut up. If is the single greatest thing that you declare that will give you the ability to, fourth D, discover if you're being a victim in a situation or not. If in a situation you find yourself saying if, and you point towards others, if they didn't say this or do this or do this, the officer comes up on the guy who's been beating on his wife. Well, if she didn't limp off, what are you talking about? We all think that's crazy, except we do that in our daily lives, in our thinking. If they didn't do this, I wouldn't respond that way. Really, what you're saying is you have no control. When you say if and you put the blame on somebody else, you're saying that you have no control over the situation. That's how weak you are. So when you say if, you're playing the victim, you're admitting to the world, you're declaring to the world, and now everybody can discover that you have a victim mentality, you weak little soul. Anytime I say it, I go, oof, Keith, you're being a victim. Now, you've discovered you're a victim. Oh, and by the way, this is the funniest thing. I've never met a victim person or a person with a victim mentality that would admit that they're being a victim. Isn't that the craziest thing ever? Like, nobody admits, I'm being a victim right now. No, they're all focused on what is wrong with everybody else, when in all reality, you're the one messed up. All right. So, well, Keith, I want to change this. I don't want to be a victim. I've noticed myself, I've caught myself saying if a lot. What do I do? Well, the next D is you got to decide. You have to decide to say, I'm no longer going to be a victim. I'm no longer going to have that weak trace of weakness running through my veins. You know, I'm 41 years old right now. I've got gray hair. I've got old man strength. Boom. And the bottom line is I've learned a thing or two. And when I hear people saying if, and I hear all that stuff, I just go, I wish they would decide to just shut up and own the situation. When I came to realize that all the shit that was wrong in my life was all because of this guy's fault, all because of decisions I made that were horrible, then I was able to decide, you know what? I own it. I own it. I fucked up. I did things that I shouldn't have done. I said things that I shouldn't have said. I acted in a way that I'm embarrassed of right now. And I'm going to decide this day forward that if I start saying if and start looking at other people, that's going to trigger for me, I'm a victim and I can't live that way anymore. So what do you do then? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Here's what you need. You need to see a design. A design, just because we love D's, a design means look for a pattern of other people that have gone through what you've been through and they've overcome it and won. Choose to be that. That's it. It's that simple. I know you can say, but I had it harder than them. Probably not. Probably not. Some of the greatest icons of people we look up to went through the hardest stuff. They paid the biggest price, as it were, and they've received the greatest reward. There's a design. Look at their design and follow after that. Model after something that's working, the non-victim mentality. And the very first thing you'll notice in that model or that design is that they take 100% ownership and control over everything. Everything. It's in their control and they own it. Now you might be wondering, Keith, how do I destroy this mentality? Well, here's what you can do. Number one, if you hear yourself saying if about anything, if out there, and it has to do with putting the blame on somebody else, you need to ask yourself in that moment to destroy that victim mentality. You need to ask yourself one question: what can I do about it? And similarly, what am I going to do about it? What can I do about it? And what am I going to do about it? Why is that so powerful? Because now you take the locus of control to yourself. It's on you now. Now you have decisions you can make. Now you have a role in this game. And once you realize you have a role in the game, you can actually affect the outcome. Isn't that interesting? That's great. That's such a good point. All right. Two more things, and then we'll wrap up this little video with a bow. You need to delete or deafened? I don't know, make deaf the voices of those who are victims around you. We all have these people in our life, whether they're friends or family or old friends or old family or whatever, and you just have to either delete them or deafen them or lower the knob of the volume of their voice speaking into your head because it's not helping you. And the truth is, as friends, we want to help our friends. If I see one of my good friends in trouble, there's a chance that I'm going to run to their rescue or want to run to their rescue and tell them they're okay and it's everybody else's fault. That's what friends do. But it can be a little deceiving. Ooh, that's an extra D I wasn't even expecting. It can be deceiving because The truth of the matter is, you know that you kind of fucked up. You kind of did some things. You could have done some other things. You could have worked harder, and you could have made better preparations, What's interesting, because during this coronavirus, I've heard a lot of people, I was going to do this and then coronavirus. Like coronavirus was this big thing that totally hurt you, when in all reality it was no. Like Warren Buffett says, man, when the tide goes out, we all see who has been swimming naked. It just exposed who you already were and who you were lying to yourself and everybody else about who you were. So you need to delete or deafen the voice of those around you. Start to kind of exclude yourself from that circle because it's not helping you. And then lastly, I think you need to go deliver this message, whether you need to share these things with others or you need to just forward this video on to others so they can hear it from somebody who is not afraid of hurting their feelings per se. But when you deliver a message, when you teach something like this, they say to teach is to learn twice. And I think that's really powerful, and I think it's true. Listen, if you've made it this far in the video, you probably thought, you know what? There are some areas that I've acted like a victim in my life, and it's not serving me. It's actually not helping me get where I want to go. And that's sad. So I would encourage you to share this with people and just say, hey, man, thought this was interesting, really helped in my life. Tell me what you think. Now, I know there'll be some people that are watching this that I know, and they might be thinking, have I acted like a victim? I know if I was watching this video, if I made it this far, Lord knows I'd be like, yeah. Yeah, I've been the victim before. And the truth of the matter is I might even be acting like a victim in some of my areas of my life now. So that's the D's. Just straight up Sunny D. Ooh, Sunny D. Last analogy, you wake up in the morning, you haven't drinking anything, and you grab some Sunny D and you pour it right down your gullet. Boom. You feel it inside your chest. Is that not the coolest feeling ever? You're damn right it is. Have a great day. Share this with somebody and quit being a victim. Especially if you've really handled this, we can hear victims from a mile away. And it's just like nails on chalkboard. And who wants to go around just ruffling people's ears up like that? No bueno. Take care. All right, so if you're wanting to learn how to raise more private money, go to www.privatemoneypro.com, www.privatemoneypro.com, where I can show you how to be a private money pro. Take care and go rock it.